What the fuck is up? I have a fucking light right here and it's just like beaming into my eyes. I don't even know. Let me get some glasses on or something. Nice. So anyway, I want to talk to you about fear, right? Fear is this amazing emotion, right? We're trained that fear is wrong, fear is bad, apologies, and that fear is not something that you should have. Right? Let's get rid of fear. Let's conquer the fear. And the fact of the matter is, you will never, ever, ever get rid of fear. Never. And that's all right. You know, that's cool. Like, it's not even. It's instead of trying to fight it, ride the wave. You might know this from my social media. I created a term called nervous confidence, which was, taking action even though you are nervous, right? It's called being courageous, right? You know, in the army, there's a story of this one guy, very popular guy. I forgot his name, but I read his book and he mentioned how he was in the army and they asked him, the higher ranking asked all the lower ranking soldiers who were, straight in line. He said, "Who here is afraid?" And there's only one person who lifted up their arm, right? And the sergeant said, "He's the only one that's telling the truth, and all of y'all are fucking lying." Because it's true. How could you not be scared? How could you not be scared of going into the battle? How could you not be scared of losing your life? How could you not be scared, right? You will always fear that, right? And that is the biggest fear. Your biggest fear is losing your life. Is loss, losing, not having, not gaining, not gaining again. That is the biggest fear. Holding you back is the fear of loss, right? Fear of losing your life, fear of losing money, starting a business, fear of, I previously had the fear of falling in love and losing that love, right? That was a real fear for me, and it was very powerful because the thing about fear is it's showing you what you need to fix. It's showing you what you need to focus your attention onto, right? Fear is very, very important. I love fear. Fear is my best friend. And you see, when we take action, let's say today, I use the 3-second rule by Mel Robbins. She has a TED Talk. She wrote a book, The 5-Second Rule. It's not the one where you drop the food. It's where you have 5 seconds to take action before your brain convinces you that you should not do it anymore, right? You'll come up with a logical reason for your emotion of fear, right? So today, I was at church. There's a thing called Kingdom Come. It's very amazing. I've got a band in the middle of the church. They move all the chairs, everybody's standing, everyone's standing for the most part. Everybody's singing, praising God, the One. And they said, would anybody like to come up and say a few words, anything that, come to you? And immediately I said, I want to go up. I want to go up, I want to go do this. I want to say this, right? And I was like, oh shit, everybody's gonna see me. Every single body's here is gonna see me, right? And the funny thing is that is a fear that we inherited from previous tribes, right? Sometimes the thing is the peacock, right? We take the peacock. The woman mates with the peacock with the biggest feathers and the brightest feathers because he's seen the most, right? And if you are seen the most, you are more susceptible to being killed. The more people who see you, you are more susceptible to being killed. MLK got shot by a hater. Nipsey Hussle got shot by a hater. JFK got shot by a hater. If these dudes would have stayed in their normal, not seen by the public eye, they would have been alive. They would have not been shot, right? So it's a very real fear, and it's actually a very possible fear to be killed because you are seen by many people. But it's something that must be overcome when you have a bigger purpose, right? And I have a bigger purpose. So I said, you know what? My heart is pumping. My heart is pumping, right? I'm nervous. I'm excited. I'm fearful. Let's do it. I was like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go, dude. Let's go. You know you want to do it. You want to do it. Let's go do it. You want to do it. Let's go do it. You know what I mean? You have that fear. And I went up there and people loved it. People were fucking applauding hard. Like everybody was like, yes, man, yes. And afterwards, people came up to me, tried to get my information, and thanking me for what I said, and pointing out specifically, they were like, you're very good at the way that you speak, sort of enunciating every single thing. And then another man, right, this super tall white man, he came up to me and he said, he was affirming me that my path was to evangelize, which basically means to spread the image of God around. And it's very much true. I definitely, my part of my purpose is to get people to see that they are God, right? And that seems, if you don't know this, that you are God, and you'll see like, be like, what the fuck, what are you talking about? I'm not God, I'm not God, I'm not, you are, I'm not gonna get into it. I'm really not gonna get into it. I'm gonna put it in my book. I'm going to put it in my course. I'm going to put it in my mastermind group for those people who are willing to pay for the information to know this. Because this is actually very important. This is very, very, very important. Right? And the thing is, you take in information. I'm making these videos for free. People, of course, people love these videos. You know, they share them. They like them. But you listen to something that you paid for differently. Right? If you paid for somebody, if you paid $200 for somebody to give you information, you're going to be very, very attentive, and you're going to implement it, right? So that's why I have to charge, and I need to make money as well. Like, I'm not even going to kid you around. Like, obviously, I need to survive, right? What am I going to do? You know, eat your compliments. What the fuck? I'm going to eat your Instagram likes. The fuck is that? No, I need to eat real fucking food. I need to take my bitches out. I need to take my homies out. Like, I want to provide, right? I'm a giver, right? But going back to this topic of fear. And in that moment, basically, I went up there, right? And I did it, and it was amazing. It was awesome. And no matter what, next time I go up on a stage again, I'm going to be fearful again. It's just a matter of fact. Right? I've approached hundreds, I'd say maybe even thousands of women in my life. And no matter what, every single time I go up to another girl, I'm always a bit nervous. But I shift this nervousness into excitement. That's why you have to realize that nervousness is excitement. Right? It's just the way that you see it. Right? You need to reframe the way that you're seeing things. Right? Because nervousness, you get, your heart is pumping. You got adrenaline going through you. You got are you getting a bit sweaty? You're like, right? But in excitement, your heart is beating. You get a little bit nervous. You get a bit of sweaty. You get some adrenaline going. That excitement, right? You're breathing harder. It really is just the same things are happening to you biologically, but mentally, what are you seeing it as, right? It's always about shifting the way that you see things, right? Let's take this idea of shifting. Let us say that, like, let's say when I was younger, I was really upset with my father because of, certain ways that he has behaved. And low conscious, right? So they're low conscious acts. But I think to myself, like, what I had to do, when I first began my self-help journey, and I was looking back at my past, I was very much upset with it. I was like, man, this is some bullshit. This shit scarred me for life. Right? But then for me to shift into a higher state of conscious, what I had to do was rewrite the way I perceived it. Reclaim it for myself. And I was like, you know what? All of these things that have happened to me, they've actually made me so much stronger. They've actually made me want to be an independent person. They've made me want to be a self-reliant person. They've made me want to be stronger. I want to be fucking stronger because of these things that happened to me, right? Because of these traumatic things that happened to me. I understand the mind, and I understand emotions much more, and I understand a lot of very, very deep things because of these traumatic experiences, as you may call them, right? And then you can call it trauma, right? It's totally fine. I'll still continue to call it trauma because we talk about post-traumatic stress, but what we don't do is talk about post-traumatic growth. Post-traumatic growth, right? You're going to go through something. You're going to go through these events, right? These challenges, right? And when you're going through these challenges, you're going to have that kind of fear, right? Remember that fear is always the fear of loss, the fear of dying. At the end of everything, of all your fears of relationships, your fears of money, your fears of education, your fears of traveling, of the clothes that you wear, your fucking hairstyle, the food that you eat, the things that you touch, the germs, all of your fears, at the end of it is the fear of death. It's a real thing. Let me take out my watch. I'm getting all sweaty. Getting excited. And that's a beautiful thing, right? Because whenever you realize that, when you die, it's only the physical body that dies, right? It's not the spiritual body. The spirit does not die. Your soul does not die. Newton's law of physics says that energy is not created nor destroyed, it is only transferred into something else. Right? So your energy is just going to go into something else. Anytime that you're feeling nervous, right? I'll give you some experiences, right? There was a point where after, one of my relationships, I was basically fucking traumatized again, right? I've been through so much fucking pain. And previously, before that, I was a fucking player, like dead ass, when I was 12 years old, I was like sneaking into the girls' restroom, making out with my girl, like having multiple girlfriends at the same time, like just being like, hey, let's go make out, and then making out with a girl. Like it was wild as fuck. I lost my virginity when I was 15. That's kind of young. It's not too young, right? That's a good age to start fucking learning about female orgasms, the pussy, the vagina, all that shit. They didn't teach me that in school. I had to figure that shit out myself, bro. But anyway. And then I went through this traumatic experience with this girl where it really just fucking shredded me to tears. And I was very sad. And afterwards, I had a hard time getting back into the game, as they call it. It is a game. Let's not pretend that life is not a game. It is a game. Everybody's playing it. People are trying to play you. So you have to play people. I was not good at that. And there was a time where I went out to this bar, this club actually. And we got there at the time that it opened, right? And we were the only ones there, and we were chatting with everybody, right? Which was quite a good experience. And the thing is, I went through so many rejections that day. I'd say like 30 rejections from 30 different girls. And sometimes it was going good, and then it would just kind of like buzz out, right? Something would happen, right? I don't know what it was specifically, right? If I go to the club now, it'll be much different because of who I am at the moment, right? Who I am at the moment is a very, very self-grounded person who does not, very much knows that I'm a very, very valuable person. And if a woman wants to be around me, like, she will, I'm the shit. I know this. I know this about myself, right? However, the experience that I learned there was, I would go up to girls and they could feel my nervous energy and they would end up rejecting me. And there came a point where I was like, you know what? My goal now is not even to get a girl. My goal now is to fail. I'm gonna go up to this girl and say some dumb fucking shit on purpose. I want to fuck it up on purpose. Like the thing that I was fearing fucking it up, I made that my bitch. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's fuck some shit up, right? And I started going up to girls like nothing, like, what's up? Yeah, fuck, duh, whatever, right? Like saying some whatever shit, trying to fuck it up on purpose. And it got me to the point where like I was so free from the outcome that eventually like there's a fine ass girl, right? I see her walking around and then she's kind of near me now. I just tapped her, right? And then she turns around, right? She sees me and she's like, "Hey!" And she greets me with a hug, right? And this chick was fine. Like, I'll be honest, bro. She's wearing a crop top, right? She's got nice hips. She's healthy. She's fit. She's got long dark brown hair. She's got tan skin. Very nice geometric face. Like, a beautiful woman. Nice perky titties. So she just comes up and she hugs me, right? Because I was so free from the outcome. I was like, in that moment, I was like, you know what? Whatever. If there's fear, it's there. Like, it's not even that much of a big deal anymore. So that's the point where you want to get to. You want to get to that point where you ride the fear. You use the fear to propel you. Earlier today, I did a podcast. We began the first podcast for the Better Man podcast. That's what it's called. A thing I mentioned was about nervousness. We were talking about high status body language, and I mentioned somehow it ended up in nervousness because whenever you're nervous in an environment, you don't look cute. You don't look high. You don't look sexy. You don't look high status when you're nervous in an environment, right? You see people biting their fucking nails. That's not high status, right? And if you enter an environment, even if you are so-called high status because of your job, maybe you're a doctor, a high-paying lawyer, you have a very nice car, a lot of money, a hot wife, these things that, bring your status up. Whenever you enter an environment, you will not necessarily be treated as high status unless you act accordingly. And the way I described nervousness was actually in the cars. If you know anything about cars, there's a little thing called a starter. You might have an amazing engine. Your engine is working great, right? But your starter, which is a little simple thing, if it's not working, the whole engine will not go, right? And the job of this little thing is to make like a spark, right? It goes tss, tss. That's all it should. You heard when cars, whenever they go right, whenever they're like right, whenever you're turning it, that's because the starter's not working, right? And the starter's trying to tick it to going, right? It's like a little electrical little spark of fire. When that goes, that's when the whole engine starts. And that's basically what nervousness is, what fear is. Whenever it's coming into you, right? Whenever you feel it, it's a starter, right? It's like, what are you going to do next? You're going to do something, right? Now, you can be cowardly or you can be courageous, right? What does it mean to be courageous? It means to, so cowardly, let me watch this. So it's like cowardly is like wetting your pants. Now, courageous means doing it anyway with wet pants, right? It's like you still peed your pants, but I'm still going to do the marathon. I peed my pants, but I'm still going to fucking, go to a new country. I peed my pants, but I'm still going to approach the women, right? Like, I peed my pants, but I'm still going to go to the gym, even though I'm so overweight and I'm kind of like scared of what's going to happen. People are going to be looking at me. People are going to be judging me, right? And the funny thing with judgment is that really, you're the one judging yourself. Let me see this real quick. Let me make sure this is still going. And the thing with judgment is that really, it is you. It is you who is the one that is judging you, right? It is what you think other people are thinking about you that is the real judgment of you. The thing is, you choose if you're going to let other people in, if you're going to let their judgments in. It's your choice. It comes down to your choice. And we end up fearing what people are going to say about us. What are they going to say about you, right? Are they going to like you? Are they not going to like you? As humans, we want to be liked so badly. So fucking badly. But you will never be liked by everybody. No matter what you do. There's a really amazing entrepreneur I like. He mentioned how sometimes we're like, yo, I'm going to do it to prove the haters wrong, right? And the thing is, like, yeah, you might prove the haters wrong, but it doesn't mean they're going to stop hating you. Like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? You'll get even more haters. The more success that you have, the more haters you're going to have. One of my old fears used to be of judgment from my family, right? I'll explain. By the way, so anyway, I had this fear of my family judging me. The people, so I come from a wealthier background because my dad was a very hardworking man and he did the right work that made him the money. Because everybody, yeah, let's be honest, everybody's hardworking, right? Most people that you meet are hardworking, but they're not doing the right work that's making the right amount of money. That's basically all it is. The reason you're poor is because you're working too hard in something that's not making you the money, right? Just work really hard in something else that's gonna make the money, right? That's basically it. So that's what my dad did. He made a lot of money compared to most people, which put me in a very, very good position because of that I was able to have so many more opportunities. I was able to do a lot of different things that, a lot of my poorer, let's not even say poor, you know what I mean? Because we have, they eat, they shower, they go to school, you know what I mean? They drive cars, like, they're not fucking like, in the street corner or whatever, like they gone to school, they have degrees, you know what I mean? They're just a little less wealthy, really. A little more struggling, right? A little less vacation. You can say it. A little less luxury. You can put it that way. And I was like, people are going to say about me that I only reached my goals. I only became rich. I'm going to become rich as well. That's like, I'm not rich right now, but I'm going to become rich, right? I'm going to be very wealthy. And I don't know, and people are going to say he only became famous and rich and he has all these things only because his dad makes a lot of money. That was a real fear, and that prevented me from actually making money. As ludicrous as that sounds. So essentially what ended up happening was that was a limiting thing that I had, right? You notice how when your fear, you can either let it help you grow or limit you, right? And I had that fear and I was like, you know what? I let it go, right? I abolish it from my life, right? Another recent fear that I have just constantly kept releasing. It was because it was very, very much ingrained into me. Was that fear of the loss, right? The fear of the loss of a loved one. It can be very, very painful. Let's be honest. You ever been through a breakup with somebody you loved, somebody you thought you were gonna marry them? Now imagine you entered like many deep relationships, right? And next thing you know, like they're fucking over, and you had no clue as to how they even ended, and you're just fucking petrified. You're so sad, you cry. I cried, you know what I mean? I'll be honest with you, and I had this enormous fear. I was not getting into relationships for a while. Even now, I'd say 3 years later, right? I've been having sex. I've been going on dates. I've been meeting plenty of women, but I have not been entering into a deep relationship. That's been my fear, right? Entering a deep relationship, right? They've been like short, relationships where really it's more about the sex and it's not so much about being so vulnerable. It was that fear of vulnerability, to be honest. You're gonna be vulnerable with somebody, and you want to make sure that shit's protected. You want to make sure that you trust them. You know what I mean? Somebody like me has been through quite some stuff. Sometimes you have so much trouble trusting people, and it's not a good thing. It's actually not a good thing to have that fear, and it held me back for so long. Like, it was crazy. It was weird because I would meet these gorgeous fucking stunning women, fucking models. They actually were models, and we're kind of hitting it off, and the next thing you know, all right, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I was pushing myself away on purpose, right? Because I just didn't want to be vulnerable like that. I went to a very, very lucrative seminar. It's here in London, right? And people from all over the world come to this seminar. And I felt so blessed to be there. And what ended up happening, this guy, what he mentioned was, be more squid, right? I was like, what the fuck? What do you mean, be more squid? Like, what are you even talking about? And it's like a very simple concept, actually. It's a very, very simple concept. Now, there is a critter in the ocean. It's been around for millions of years, right? Very long time. Bro, my butt muscles are twitching right now. It's been a critter. Oh shit. That was a hard hit. Woo! It's been around for so many years, millions of years. And it nobody can kill it. Like, it's hard for it to be killed, right? That's why it's just been continuing to mate, make more babies. Nobody can kill it, right? It has a very hard shell, right? It gets to the bottom of the floor. It lives on the floor. And it's got its shell. It's like the armadillo of the ocean, right? Except it doesn't bend. It's just like half. It's just like cut in half, right? And then we have a squid, right? And so the squid has got all its squishy stuff on the outside, right? All the very vulnerable stuff on the outside, right? And on the inside, it's got the hard stuff, right? It's got the heart. It's got the organs, right? But on the outside, it's like, right? You ever eat squid? There's some squishy ass guys, right? But the squid, as you might seen already, you already clearly know this, that the squid goes everywhere. Goes up, goes down, goes sideways, right? Goes freaking different angles, right? You can go all over the ocean, right? This bottom creature only goes at the bottom, right? It's safer. It's safe, right? But it's stuck in the bottom, right? Now the squid, it's in more danger, right? Much, much more danger because it's vulnerable, right? But it can go everywhere, right? So which one do you want to pick? Safety and limited experience of the world. Very, very limited, right? You can say that the bottom of the floor is what? It's what, like what? I don't know. Not even 1% of the ocean. Can you even think about that? Like, there's more ocean water than there is bottom of the floor, right? And we're trying to be at the bottom of the floor. We're trying to be in the safety. But what the fuck? That's not even, like, where are you going? That's all you have. That's all you have, the bottom. But if you can be more flexible, a little bit more vulnerable, right? And be like, you know what, fuck it, like, I'm actually not gonna die. I'm actually not. If I approach this woman, or if I speak up about myself, if I tell people about my past, right? People actually will relate to that. You'll just be strengthened in other people's eyes when you talk about your weaknesses, right? Now, if you talk about your weaknesses all the time, you're gonna be perceived as a bitch. Simple as that, right? If you talk about your weaknesses, with a selected people, right? You can't just go around people in the street going like, right? Like, no, what the heck? I mean, sometimes it's easier to talk to strangers than it is to, some of your friends. Because, well, you're never going to meet this person again, right? But you're going to see that person pretty soon, every day for the next fucking few years, even. So, being vulnerable is very, very important, right? And we have that fear of being vulnerable because, remember death, right? We have to remind ourselves, you have to keep reminding yourself, right? You have to keep reminding yourself. Keep reminding yourself. Keep reminding yourself. Keep reminding. It's fucking hilarious for me. I like fucking around. Today was really cool because I was on the bus and there's a girl. She's looking kind of cute, right? She's got like a pizza. I was looking at the pizza, and it's like it's got like Jesus on there, right? And I was like, oh shit, like this just looks cool. And I literally just started talking to her. We exchanged information afterwards, but it was a very interesting experience because in that moment I actually did not have any sort of fear. I had no fear. I was just filled with love. Literally, I was filled with fucking love, like amazing. And then I met another woman in the train. Later, when I got on the train, we started talking. She got my information. She got my YouTube channel, right? She's like, I got her Facebook. Like, we're exchanging, you know. And I wasn't fearful either. I was just filled with love, right? And that's the funny thing that like, whenever you going through situations with fear in your mind already, you learn something from it, right? You know, you always take something from it because you're gonna fail. Like, you know, the likelihood of you failing is very high whenever you approach somebody with a state of fear inside of you, right? So really, the question becomes like, how do I not even think about fear? That's the thing. Like, sometimes when we're fearful, we have to remember, shift it into understanding that it is excitement, right? And then when you have already shifted yourself in that way, you tap into what is called love, right? And it's very, very simple. Whenever you are tapped into love, whenever you just give your love, whenever everything that you do revolves around your love, you speak, you shout, you sing, you dance, you communicate, you hug. It is all through your love. And you know, when you create, gosh, you know what I mean? When you create something, making it out of love is so much more stronger than fear. By far. It is one of the levels of consciousness. I'll show it right now. Boop. You know, love is even a higher level of consciousness than rationalization. It is remarkable how strong love is, right? And when you align yourself with God, when you align yourself with the divine one, the divine spirit, with the universe, with the creator, that is when you begin to let go of fear, because fear is not godly. Fear is not godly. Love is godly. Everything that you see, this whole world, there's 3 different elements to the world. There is love, there is intelligence, and there is consciousness. And that's what this whole world is created from, literally. But basically, when you tap into love, you know, God created this world out of love, right? If you understand that metaphorically and even physically, this world is created from love, right? Why do we suffer? Because of love. Why do we feel joy? Because of love. You know what I mean? You wouldn't be able to tell love. This is what people say, right? And people are right in this aspect. People are not right about everything, but people are right about this. Sorry, my lip is fucking hurting. I'm gonna put some chapstick on real quick because it's not even chapstick. It's a Vaseline. I don't even know. It suddenly got real cold in London. It was hot yesterday. You had to wear shorts. And today was all foggy. I swear what I'm thinking is the government, they're putting up fucking chemtrails. That's what it is. The government's putting up chemtrails. when we align ourselves with God, that is when we let go of fear. And how do you align yourself with God? Well, just by being with him every day. Like, I know I said him, right? And the reason I said him is because I recognize God as dominant, even though he's the dominance and the feminine, but I see God as more as the creator. Right? And creation is associated with masculine energy, right? It's the doing of, right? To do, right? That is what masculine energy is. It's the penetration of, right? What does the woman do? She receives, right? She takes your dick. You are the one that's spearing her. You're giving it to her. You come inside of her. You're giving her your semen, right? It is the doing of. So that's why I say him. That's why I recognize. But God is above gender. God does not have a gender. God does not have a gender at all. That is because God is above gender. How could he be man or a woman? Have you seen a man or a woman do anything that God has done? Did you see a man create this whole environment that we're in? Of course not. What the fuck? If man had powers like God with a capital G, then if he was a man or a woman, like, we would be somewhere else, right? But we're not. We're right here. We're in this world. We're in this what this even looks like because of God, right? And when I say that you are God, is you understanding that you cannot be anything else but God. Anything in this world can be nothing but God, because God created God out of himself. God created this world out of himself. He figured out how am I gonna make, there was nothing and then there's everything, right? So how am I going to make everything out of nothing? Oh, you know what? I'll just create it. Boom. How do you figure out how to create it? That's just how intelligent God was. Just figured out how to create it, right? But if there's nothing, there's literally nothing, then it had to be created by something. So that nothing wasn't actually a something. It was that nothingness was actually a something, right? If anything is going to be created, I can't go like this and there's something, right? It has to be created from itself. Us. Like, everything comes from everything. Remember, energy is not created nor destroyed, right? So humans, we are what? We're stardust, right? And we're also the fucking clay and mud. That's what we are, right? This is in the Quran. You can see this, and it mentions how the elements that we are, right? We're carbon and I don't know. We're three fucking shit, right? And basically, this is found in mud, right? And that's what it says in the Quran. That we're created from, maybe we're not created from mud, but maybe it's specifically trying to say that we're created from these three carbon elements. It's on the periodic table. Just fucking look this up. Gosh, man. Don't expect me to give you all the answers. Fuck. I know I'm smart, but, you know, I forget my resources all the time. So anyway, that's why we are God, because God, and then I'm experiencing it. It's like a tree. God was like a tree, right? It's like, just imagine a seed and it's spreading, right? Right? The Big Bang came. It was a concentrated point, explosion outwardly, right? Big Bang. The seed was the Big Bang, let's say that, and it starts sprouting. And it's just all these different channels for God, right? And it's like more fun for God like this, right? It's like God is trying to figure out that he's God, right? And it's basically what it is. It's the challenge for God, right? So in a way, you're challenging yourself right now. You chose to challenge yourself. You chose to put yourself under hard situations. You chose to be in the body that you're in. You chose these things. You chose the country that you were going to be in. You knew exactly what was going to happen. But whenever you got to earth, you went through what is called the veil of forgiveness. The veil of not forgiveness, my bad. Of forgetfulness. The veil of forgetfulness. And when you go through this veil, you just forget everything. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you go through some kind of Yeah, I was just saying that you go through the veil of forgetfulness, and you know what's gonna happen next, right? What's gonna happen, right? And you try to figure it out, right? You're trying to figure out this world. You knew what your path was, right? And that's what it's unfolding, right? Your path is unfolding, but you're gonna get there. You know, whatever your goals are, you're gonna get there. Like, it's very, very simple. You know, if that is what is written for you, that, and you align yourself for it. That's the thing. Even if it's written for you, and you don't align yourself with it, then you're not gonna get it. It's simple as that. You know what I mean? Like, let's say it's just something I know. It's just something I know. You know that I'm going to be on. I'm gonna have my own TV show. Like, I don't know, somewhere in my 30s, I'm gonna have my own TV show. I'm gonna be pretty big. Like, and the cool thing about this is that if I align myself with it, and if I take the steps necessary, then I will align myself. I will get that, right? But because you have the choice, I have the choice to just not do anything but like sit around. Like, I don't do that anymore. I can't do that. Like, I used to just sit around and do nothing. But what the fuck? Like, I can't do that anymore, right? Because I have more of a path, right? So tying all of this information, right? All of this goes back to fear, right? I'm literally explaining to you how it is that I get rid of fear, right? I talked about riding the fear. If we really summarize all of this, right? We take, first you got the fear, and then I mentioned how you don't conquer the fear necessarily, you just ride the fear, right? Like the thing is, I could tell you to just love yourself, right? But that's skipping all the steps that are in the middle, right? Like, here's fear, how to get rid of fear, love yourself, right? Right? But it's like, how do I get you to actually get there, right? You people just want to skip straight to there, but you have to go through each level of consciousness, right, to get there, right? If you don't love yourself right now, if you don't love your goals, if you don't love your body, your state of mind, your relationships, then what ends up happening is it's just like you're filled with so much anxiety, so much fear, right? You can even get a bit depressed, right? So literally the reason is because of the lack of love, right? So, but I'm teaching you all of the steps that you need to do to get to that self-love, right? And it begins with riding that through courage, right? Pissing your pants and doing it anyway, right? There's a difference between pissing yourself and still doing the thing, right? And that's what you do, and you start conquering it, right? And then you get used to it, and you sort of desensitize yourself to that fear, that thing you used to fear. You desensitize yourself to it, right? How did I get rid of my fear of dying? Sometimes I would just go stand next to a fucking cliff, at the edge of a cliff. Like, how close can I get? There was a fucking there's a thing in Austin, Texas called Castle Hill, and there was all these walls that were cemented and made pretty tall, right? So people can go up and make art on there, spray paint. And there's some walls that are, let's say, like 50 feet straight up, and it's like this, right? Let's just say here's one wall, and it's on a hill. You can step over here, and then now there's like a random wall, and it's like very thin, right? It's like 1 foot wide, and just in that direction over there, right? And I'm standing on the edge, and I'm looking like, 50 feet down. I could, I don't know, fall off and seriously hurt myself. Maybe not die, but seriously fucking hurt myself. And I've done that shit with my toes hanging off. I've done that shit balanced on the fucking leg. Like, I had to go through that fear, right? Because I knew if I can balance right here, then why the fuck can I balance over there, right?